She's half hour late. She can just sniff it.
No, so she can sniff it and shut up.
Can we swear?
There might be an accident. A slight.
Coral Island, Blackpool should be one of the wonders of the world.
But I had a problem with Nicki Minaj.
What on earth?
With a Minaj.
With Nicki's Minaj. Oh, God.
Hello and welcome to Capital Breakfast After the Show. Now, I know what you're thinking. Here we go. This is just another breakfast podcast where they stitch bits together from the radio and record some bits in between for 10 minutes after the show on Friday. But that is absolutely not what this podcast is. There's loads more to it. That, Sean Welby, would you care to explain?
Oh, I thought we were just playing in clips.
No, we're not.
Want to do some work?
We are.
Yeah.
To be fair, we actually did say that we have so many funny chats that escalate off air. Like, if you listen to us on Capital Breakfast, we get, 3 to 4 minutes to have a chat?
Yeah.
But this is as in long form. This is like the full chat.
Yeah, I agree with that. What are the rules here? I've been told that we are allowed to talk freely.
Can we swear?
Well, they'll bleep it out. They've
Okay.
said. So there might be an accidental twat. A sly.
Are you bleeping out all the swear words?
Let's test it out.
All right.
See which ones make it through.
Tell me
Let's
you're not
just-
f***ing bleeping out swear words. Because John Sopel swears all the time on Newsagents. Also, you can listen to it on Global Player, the official Capital app. And they never bleep John Sopel out. So if you're not bleeping John, you're not bleeping us. That's
I do
what
have a
say.
story that I want to talk about in today's podcast involving Lady Gaga's. Is that going to get bleeped?
In some ways, I hope that doesn't get bleeped, and then you just get cancelled.
What a way to start. What a way to start. This is
I
brilliant.
don't know what's in.
There's no rules, right? This
No
is
rules.
just us, debrief after the show. It's a peek behind the curtain for our listeners to the Capital Breakfast show, which we've been doing for a year and we all absolutely love. But also, it's for people that don't get a chance to listen to us as well.
Well, yeah, you two are sort of like podcast. I don't want to say legends, that bigs you up too much, but you kind of are. You've been
I
in the
agree.
game a long time. Yes,
We're the kind of people that get invited to talk at podcast events.
Oh, really?
Like, what's the success of your podcast? It's like, we'll have a couple of beers. That's
Yeah,
basically it.
is that one of the tips?
Yeah.
Well, that's what me.
We
How'd
get
you do?
asked, what's the secret behind yours and William's success? And we're just like, well, I say this all the time. Out of everything I do, it's the thing I feel guilty for the most because, like, I just turn up on it.
Oh, it's a con, isn't it?
Usually on a Thursday, I just turn up.
So I can crack one of these.
Hey, go on, Gil.
Come
Go on,
on,
get one of them down here.
It is water.
I do think this is going to be good, though. And as you say, I think it gives people who enjoy the show a sort of little peek, as you say. But also, I think if you are interested in getting into radio as well, sort of want to understand how we put the radio show together from, let's be honest, a quite nerdy point of view, that's cool as well. Like, I think it's quite nice that we can share some of that on this podcast.
Also, as well, if you don't listen to Capital Breakfast for whatever reason, maybe, I don't know, you listen to Jamie and Amanda or Miles, or you don't listen to the radio that much, that's fine. You're more than welcome to just listen to our podcast every week when it comes out. It's released every Saturday morning. So
Yeah, but what I would say is if you do listen to our show and then maybe you did listen and thought, what was that? Or did that go wrong? Maybe you hear something and you can almost hear us scuffling in the background. We'll explain on this podcast if something went a bit wrong.
Perfect segue, Chris, into tell everyone what we're talking about on our episode today.
All right, we're going to kick things off in style. So on today's episode, we're going to start with a personal hygiene issue that we experienced around a celebrity this week.
Yeah, good start. Yeah, good.
This is going to be class, isn't it? Jordan wants to talk about a condiment that he's convinced that's gone out of fashion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He's also thinks that he's taken credit for bringing it back, which is just nonsense. And we're going to explain why sandwiches are more dangerous than you think.
Oh, there we go. I can smell that podcast award now. That aria is on the way. Let's kickstart Capital Breakfast After the Show. This podcast is all about bringing you into a behind the scenes, a little peek behind the curtain of Capital Breakfast. Right, so we always say our radio show is nothing without the listeners. Every radio show says that, but we honestly, genuinely mean it. We have got some of the best listeners, and what I love is we get the best callers on air, and we wanted to share our favourites from the past week. Sean, who has been your favourite caller this week from Capital Breakfast on the Capital Breakfast After the Show?
Well, some of my favourite texts are when we sort of ask you for your, I don't know, like your funny stories. And one of our topics this week was secrets of your job. which I thought was brilliant.
So good.
We had stuff like flight attendants. Do you remember they said how they put the seatbelt sign on when they just want to have the lunch?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they keep us all strapped in.
And if we're being a bit rowdy, they'll just say to Captain, this lot are playing up. Usually on a flight to Ibiza, you just put the belt sign on.
And they even say that they get the pilot sometimes to pretend there's turbulence. Oh, we're going through a little bit of a turbulence at the minute. Just seatbelt signs come on. And we just like sheep, aren't we? We just go, yes, okay,
Yes,
good.
okay,
Sit
yes.
down. So I thought that was genius. Newsreaders wearing slippers under the table. That is true, because I was saying as well that when I did the weather, sometimes I could not be bothered to get changed properly, because I used to have to always wear dresses, and sometimes I kept my jeans on, and one time during winter I just kept wellies on as well. No one could tell.
Brilliant.
It's just great. But my favourite one, because this really was a secret of a job, did you know this happened when your DPD driver turns up?
Basically, if you've ordered a sex toy, they know.
They know.
Yeah.
They know what we're ordering. They're giving you that smirk. If you get a smirk, they know what's inside your box.
We used to live next door to
Beg your pardon?
we used to live next door to two lesbians, and my dad was always taking in packets for them, and they were very phallic shaped.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they now?
Yeah.
What the boxes were they?
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous.
This is, by the way, nonsense.
No, it is.
Utter
My
nonsense.
dad, my dad
When
and
have
Graham
you-
used to go. Graham used to go. Oh, they've been ordering bloody. I mean, my dad, and it'd always be like.
So it was shaped.
Like they were
It
always.
was shaped like a cock and ball.
So they weren't in a box
No,
then? They weren't
were in a
box.
box, but it was always a long box,
Oh,
and you could
come
rattle
on.
it about. And that's all.
Don't be
Honest, ask my
stupid.
dad if you don't believe
Right,
me.
nonsense.
We were always taking in sex toys for lesbians next door. That's all I'm saying.
My caller of the week
Not even.
was an
react.
incredible was an incredible moment, because one of the cool things that we get to do with our job is, life-changing prizes. I think some of the holidays we give away as well. Like,
Yes.
the impact that can have.
I
Oh,
love
it's amazing.
Because it is tough out there at the moment.
Mate.
I love when we give away a holiday. I love hearing the happiness.
And the first time I've done January, and January is a miserable month. I always say it's where we earn our money. But when we give away holidays with Jet2 for that full 3 weeks in January,
class.
that is so. I buzz off
Yeah,
that.
it's
It's
very
so good. It is.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we gave away a really cool prize this week. We gave away 100 grand.
Oh, I know why you've brought up this 100
Oh
grand
my
one.
God.
That was stressful.
It was stressful. You're right, Sean. And this isn't a humble brag at us. Like, look at us. We're giving away all this money. The reason why this is my favourite caller this week is you may have heard this on the show, but what you haven't heard is what happened when we were playing the songs in between and had to try and persuade Sarah in Glasgow that this was not a con and that we weren't just trying to take her money. Have a listen.
Congratulations, because you have just won £100,000!
No way.
Yes, Wayne. Yes!
You've
Okay.
done it. No, we're being
I
serious.
can't believe that.
No, right,
There's
okay.
no way.
You think this is some weird joke, don't you? We would never
Yes,
do
I
that.
do. It's a scam.
No, we would never ever do that ever in a million years.
Scam! It's Jordan.
It's a scam.
Right,
No,
hi.
no.
Good morning. You're on the radio now. It's Jordan. It's Chris. It's Sean from Capital Breakfast in London.
No, it can't be.
The fact that we rung her up, she listens to us, and we said you've won 100 grand. She thought it was like some prank or a con, which is fair enough, because I've been on the end of a phone call and be like, hi, I'm a prince in so-and-so, and we're distance related. Just gives you bank details, I'll send over. That's what she probably thought it was.
Yeah, but then I started thinking, how on earth can we persuade her? Because every time we say more things, it sounds more like a con. Right, so someone's going to be in touch. We'll send you a link. Just click on it. Everything you're told not to do.
Yeah, but then once again, Sean, you overpromise in these things. I'm just a bit like, let's leave it to the guys. We'll let them sort it. You start going, right, what we'll do is we'll send over a newspaper with today's date on.
Yeah, I
I'm
did.
like, Sean, we haven't got time for this.
I wanted
Stop
to send her
dragging
a
me into
selfie.
nonsense.
But I got so stressed for her, thinking
Yeah, but
she
let
thought we
them
were con
deal. We've got
artists.
a great team here.
Yeah, but then how are they going to persuade her?
It's their issue. It's not.
I wouldn't
Stop.
believe anyone.
Stop.
I love that people are listening to this, see your dynamic now.
Stop.
This is brilliant.
She genuinely, right, get this. I'm not overreacting. She emailed customer support apparently afterwards
Yes,
to
Get
check
away.
whether it was
Shut up.
no, but to check it wasn't a con.
Brilliant.
How can you even show somebody what you're doing?
It was a lot of money.
Well, the worst thing was she put the radio on to see if it was us and a song was playing, so she couldn't hear us. That's what I'm saying. We need to probably eventually change the way that radios do competitions because no one's going to believe us.
Good. My caller of the week is I love doing this mainly because you get a proper Welby cackle out of it every time we do it. Millennial injuries.
Oh, it's so fun.
So every now and then we call this a reoccurrent feature where we bring it back every now and then if something's happened. And this week it was millennial injuries, where we just get you to come on about the most ridiculous times you've injured yourself. So it was all because I was hoeing away in the garden. I ordered a hoe online and I really hurt my shoulder getting the weeds out.
I'm not surprised because I haven't seen your garden. It's beautiful, but it's largely concrete.
Yeah, because
how you put a hoe through concrete? I don't know.
It was because I was using it to get the weeds out instead of bending down. But what I've done is I've put my shoulder out, so I said we'll do millennial injuries. So we had Sanjita broke her 2 feet in risotto. Adam got tendicitis around the ball of his foot from playing darts and just standing there for a couple of hours. Ian got jaw lock from dental flossing, and Hayley sneezed and broke a collarbone. But our favourite, this was so good, and the fact as well for the clip that we put online, he actually reenacted the scene and got a picture for us.
Yeah, legend.
On the socials, was Wayne, who injured himself in the supermarket.
Good morning. Hi. Yeah, so I went on my lunch break. I went to a supermarket to buy my lunch. I was just stood looking at the sandwiches and I popped a disc. And I was out for a year and a half. Yeah. I ended up having injections in my back to get me back up and running.
From looking at a sandwich.
Do you mean you were up or something, or were you kneeling down?
No. I don't really know what I did. I just looked at them, and then the next thing I know, I dropped.
Stop it!
It was so painful.
Oh, Wayne. What is so good about this is I hope that this stays with you. If you haven't heard the phrase a millennial injury, it's something that we have invented on this show, but it is everyday things. You used to do it in your 20s. It was safe. But once you hit your 30s and beyond, lethal. Like, just be careful tying your shoelace and sneezing out there.
It's some of them
really
that
happens.
get them in. But just imagine... What was it? Slipped his discs looking at something.
It's wild. I really notice it with my friends at the moment. It's
Yeah.
like we try and organise golf trips, and the lads who can't come along because they've injured themselves, and you ask how they do it. It's all of these things.
It's tragic, isn't it?
It's just you just hit a point.
It's the Mickey Flanagan with his mate. He went, have you done your back in? He says, well, I was wringing out a cloth.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everything's dangerous. Your body starts shutting down, so just be careful out there.
Sean, you're going to take charge of this because really this is your thing. You like to keep quotes of things that are said in the studio, which for me feels like it should be almost a sacred space. You should be able to say whatever you want.
The reason it started, though, from Sian is she keeps the notes, and then when we next go to the pub as a team, we go through them, and it's the funniest thing ever. Sian read back, because it's... look, if you ever want to work in radio, like Chris said, it's the best job in the world, but it's mayhem in that studio. So I might say something, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So Sian keeps lists of them, and then when we go for a pint, she goes through them, and it is the funniest thing I love this.
Yeah, so what I tend to do is write them throughout the year, and then I get people in the team to guess who said what. What I will say about my quotes from the notes is if my phone ever got stolen, that is password protected, that one note, because some of the stuff we say...
Good.
Yeah.
And also you're very she's very sensible. It won't be a guessable password because it won't be like a
1, 2, 3.
It won't be Watford 69 like
it's
all your stuff,
it's not.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change my password.
Okay.
Your two favourite things.
Right, are you ready for the first one?
Yes, okay.
This was said this week. Coral Island, Blackpool should be one of the wonders of the world. It's better than the Great Wall of China. I mean,
Stand by that.
That is a ridiculous quote from our very own Chris Stark.
So Chris came back from a DJ gig, Young Farmers in Blackpool, and said, mate, I had like time to kill, so it's the first time I had a wander around Blackpool, and I was expecting to say I went to Pleasure Beach. I was like, yeah, best theme park ever. Or I went up Blackpool Tower. He went, no, mate, Coral Island is one of the best places I've ever visited.
Yeah, totally stand by that, Sean. And it's not just about Coral Island being great. I think the Great Wall of China it's a wall. And
It's a massive wall
I understand
that
there's
goes
more
on for miles. That's ancient.
Yeah, I get that. But here's the thing, is like, if I went to go visit it, as impressive as that would be, I'd have to learn a bit more of the history of it. What I found with Coral Island is you are immediately immersed.
It's amazing.
It's an arcade. It's literally an arcade with 2p machines in it.
It's not.
It's more than that. It's great. For years, the sea had not the sea wasn't working on the light up bit outside, so everyone called it Oral Island, which is also a great
That's
name.
also adds to my case for it not to be UNESCO approved.
It's got a kind of train running along the top of it as well.
Like all great wonders.
It's like, but this is what I'm saying. If you're saying the other things are great wonders of the world, I think it's in for a shout. I know this sounds like we're taking a mick. We're not. We did speak to UNESCO about trying to make that happen, and I think that's something under what we often say in the studio. We'll file under leave it
with us, and we're waiting for a reply because we have actually sent them an official email.
Should we also just quickly say that leave it with us, we've got into trouble from our producers because we say it so much.
That was a telling off, by the way.
Yeah, it was a telling off.
Serious telling
because
off
we
for
go,
that.
leave it with us, and we say it on air, and then the poor producers have to follow up this madness.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, Chris, when you first started, you wanted to bring a cow to every university.
Did I?
Yes, exactly. See, he's forgotten. But I think for a while the producers were sweating, working out how they could do this without Peter getting involved.
We got a serious telling off for that because you keep saying it on air and then it's weakening down the content. I was like, yeah, you're right. And it was mainly me because it's a crutch. So they call it a crutch. To get out of a link, you'll say, a crutch is like, you'll notice sometimes if I'm using a crutch, I'll say the same thing at the start and at the end of every link I do. And I was just saying, right, leave it with us on Capital Breakfast. And it was turning into a bit of a crutch, which we didn't want.
It was just turning into an unmanageable to-do list.
Well, yeah, absolute workload.
Hilarious we're in a job where we get told off like that,
It's
though.
brilliant, isn't it?
It was like two dads sitting us down and sort of... I knew they were in a telling off mood as well. You can tell.
I knew that day Callum and Jimmy were going to give us a bit of a telling off. Can we just say, right, Great Wall of China is our 8th wonder of the world. Why not Hadrian's Wall?
No, there's only 7 wonders of the world, by the way.
Sorry, 7.
Well,
Why
also
not?
there's ancient wonders of the world and modern wonders of the world, and we were trying to get it declared as, look, it's not going to happen.
The Great Wall of
realistically,
China,
is it?
just quickly, you can see it from space.
See Hadrian's Wall from space.
You cannot see Hadrian's
see Coral Island
little
from space.
3-foot wall from space. You
can see
can't.
anything from space.
No, you can't.
Google Earth.
Right, I'm moving on. Next one, quote from the notes. The thing is, you don't want to die for an O2 spawn.
Brilliant.
Again,
Oh,
Chris.
Where do we say?
Was that me?
Mate, it was you because of that thing we had to do.
Yeah, so explain what this was.
Well, where do we start? We sometimes get to do these little like sort of crossovers where we work with a brand and do something cool. Now, this was cool. The idea was to work with O2 and do some extreme sports of some sort. We're sort of agreeing that we've got to the age where, no, I don't want to jump off the top of the O2 arena for a little bit of social media. And you start to realise that these things that you would have done ages ago, you now second guess them and go, I don't think I want to do that.
No, we're so lucky in our job. Look, there is a transactional element to it. And
I'm out of this.
You were out of it.
I
And
said
that's
no.
the worst bit.
I said no
You
from the
said
straight.
no,
I
and
was
me
like,
and Chris
I'm
had to
not
do
doing
it.
this.
no, because we are lucky, because for some, jumping out of a plane doing a skydive would be like,
Would be a
you
dream.
would go pay to do that. But I'm talking for you here, Sean, we're kind of scared about doing that, right?
Yes.
So the payoff in my mind goes, are you earning enough money to risk your life?
Well, that is it, I suppose, because
And that's what I mean by, I don't know if I want to die for an O2 spawn. It's a very dramatic thing to say.
I agree.
But that is the kind of risk-reward balance that goes in my head. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to reveal the money involved, but the risk-reward balance felt better when we were doing the indoor skydive that we ended up doing.
I'm glad it was the indoor skydive, because at one point it was a bungee jump and then
what I mean.
there was going to be a cold plunge, which I would have
I was
hated
out.
to do.
I said no. If you did die, what would happen? Would you get a payout? How would that work? Would Rhea get a payout?
What the hell has this become?
Like what?
I don't. Well, I'm sure there'd be some sort of.
You've
I
got
don't know.
life
I'd have
insurance,
I'd have to
haven't
read
you?
the small
Right,
print.
next quote.
Okay. Have you got life insurance? I've
Bloody
got a
hope-
mate that can
bloody
sort you
hope
out. Honestly.
Wouldn't it be great if the next thing people hear in the next little break is an advert for life insurance?
My mates-
They've suddenly swooped in. Again, the risk-reward balance is a constant
My
battle.
mate's one at Best Life Insurance sellers in Northwest. Seriously, they'll sort you out. It's got a really good deal. And you. Anyway, carry on.
I can't get excited about that because that involves me dying again. So
You've
you
got to
going,
ask-
oh, I've got the best one for life
You've
insurance.
got to
Yeah,
ask
great.
yourself some tough
I don't care
questions.
if I die.
Would you leave your house to Jake or your family? You've got to pick that as well. There you go.
I'm not getting into it.
Yeah.
Right. Here's a classic Jordanism for you. Salad cream is the bounty of the condiment world.
Yes, it is. So I sometimes come in all guns blazing, and bearing in mind our peak hour on the radio is we was talking about this. It's probably between 8:15 and 8:45. That's when most people are listening. They're on the school run, so it's like 8 till 9 is our peak hours where we try to do our best content. I came in all guns blazing, and I genuinely thought this was a good topic to talk about. I went, guys, I had to get some cash back from Tesco yesterday, and I just bought a random thing, and for some reason I bought a salad cream, and then I had it on my tea that night. I had a picky tea because it's been hot. I had some ham and coleslaw and stuff and new potatoes, and I think we need to talk about salad cream because it's a forgotten gem. Nobody's had salad cream since the 70s, and I reckon we talk about it today, and then we could make a thing of it on the show. You two were just nodding your head. So I go on air, do this big link about salad cream, what we call an air fryer link, and then you just completely took the piss on air, and then all the texts that come in were like, what are you on about? Salad cream's still massive. And I've had DMs for days from people saying, I've still got salad cream in my fridge. It's the most texts we got this week about salad cream.
It was actually, to be fair.
From people
I just
saying,
couldn't believe it.
It's not out of fashion, it's still a thing.
Yes.
But my point of that is, that's my favourite thing to do on the radio. Is we do all the big stuff, we give away loads of money, we say this, and we call it an air fryer link. So it's basically where I like talking about air fryers and stuff. That salad cream.
Well, hang on, no, you haven't explained that. So the air fryer link is what Jordan thinks is a relatable link to most people. The same way that a lot of people have air fryers at the moment.
Yeah. And are obsessed with them.
You know, our show is like a mixture of A-list celebrities and air fryers. That's what we like to think.
When I first come in, I wanted to be A-listers and air fryers.
That could have been the name of this podcast.
That could have been the name. Really when I first started, I was like, all I want to do is be like A-listers and air fryers. That's what so if you go in the pub and talk about an air fryer, it gets everyone talking because they like to talk about it. And that's what I loved about that salad cream thing.
But an air fryer link, just to clarify, in this instance, you've gone, do you know what? He's turned up in the morning and gone, guys, I want to talk about salad cream.
Do the impression.
I think right, guys, I think we should talk about salad cream. It's really relatable to people.
Yeah, but then he goes in there and goes, I'm going to blow your minds now. Salad cream.
Salad cream.
Talk to me.
Try it.
Just try it. Just give it a go.
And
Get
sometimes
it back
I wonder
in
what
your...
it's like for people in cars when they're sort of
like,
driving around going like...
They probably do.
Somebody literally texts saying, are you in your own world? Like, how have you not heard of these things?
Some people must think, shut up, you dick, but also, shut up, you knob. But also, like, I sometimes forget I'm on this national breakfast show, the biggest radio brand in the country, and I'm talking about salad cream. But hey, it's best job in the world, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, salad cream's still a thing. I didn't know that it was...
So educate yourself. If you are listening, you must try this thing called salad cream.
Salad cream. Honestly, I am having... By the way, it's so good on an ham butty with coleslaw and lettuce.
I agree. I know it
so
is. I
good.
know. You didn't invent it.
I am like way into it at the moment. But anyway, that was quotes from the notes of this week. Thank you, Sean. We will have some more next week. Let's talk about who has been on the show this week. The brilliant Hannah Waddingham.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually genuinely, as a show, been trying to get her on for ages because she's almost like this icon that just became iconic out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, 1 minute you'd never heard the name Hannah Waddingham, then you couldn't move for the name Hannah Waddingham.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because she is in so much stuff that you like. So you think of even Game of Thrones, the Shame Bell.
That was
Shame.
She's going through town.
She's in Benidorm. We found out she's in Brookside as well. So much that we found
Yeah,
out about.
Ted Lasso's a big one, obviously, yeah.
Let's be really honest about how this all played out. So sometimes with big celebrities, you hear the interview go out on the radio show. We're going to tell you a bit of the magic behind how this show's made. Sometimes, because of people's availability, you have to record the interview in advance.
Yeah.
So you might do it a day before, it could be a couple of days before, sometimes it's even a couple of weeks before. It really depends. With Hannah Waddingham, she was booked to come in after one of the shows this week. And we were going to do the interview. I think the interview was roughly about 11 o'clock, that sort of time. It was her only availability. Understandable. She's in arguably the biggest film at the moment.
Oh, yeah, because she was in for Mission Impossible, the final one.
Yeah, the new one.
So we then got word that she was running slightly late, because she's a busy lady. So it got to 11:30, 11:45. And by then, we were in a slightly delusional state, weren't we? Because we'd been in that studio for roughly 7 hours.
Chris, we were in a terrible state.
Yeah.
We were an absolute mess. When I say I was borderline thinking I need to just go home and sit in a dark room and decompress, I thought I was going insane. Can we just say how bright the studio is?
Yeah.
You know, like when you're at school, there's that strip lighting that sends you bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
We are in that for 4 hours solid, sometimes 5 hours, including like the debrief. And then we never left the room because we thought she was going to be in there.
Yeah, and I'm one of those where I've been in the studio for 4 hours. You know what I'm like? I want to get out straight away at 10. We've got meetings afterwards and stuff to do. So even if it's 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, get me out. But we stayed until 11. So we're all going a bit too lally. Because you don't remember, we just started playing random clips.
Yes, I do remember. You were playing a clip after... Like, it was like hearing memes in my head constantly.
I was just playing clips. All right, sure, you wouldn't be long getting frostbite and all that kind of thing. Chanel! Just loads of clips that I've got on my soundboard. Just
And he was playing it over the Mission Impossible song as well.
Oh, yes, I
Quite
forgot
funny.
about that. That was playing in the background. It was like
that,
a
and then
remix happening.
It was the song going on, and then, you know, Ronnie Pickering sort of thing.
I thought you were going to lose it, Chris. If you look like a switch had gone. You were
I
about to lose
thought
it.
that with you as well. I thought we've lost him here. But obviously, because you're a professional, you turned it on for...
Well, of course, yeah. And then we found out she was going to be an extra 15, 20 minutes late.
That was almost a straw that broke the camel's back in terms of our mental state.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at that point, I think we didn't believe that she was actually going to turn up.
No.
And we were being... If I'm honest, we were being fed lies to keep us here. And that Hannah Waddingham might turn up at some point in the afternoon, but they keep telling us that another 15 minutes. At that point, we all got a bit bolshy. Yeah. And it's a bit like, right, well, if she doesn't turn up by midday, I've got things to do. I was saying that. And then Jordan North piled in with, you're going to have to say what you said here. So you started complaining that you were sweaty and stuff like that.
I was getting worked up. The studio was full, and it's usually around about 11 midday when my breath and pits start to go. Right?
What, they just start to go,
I always brush my teeth around about 11.
Oh, do you? Do you bring a toothbrush to work?
I've got one in my bag. I always feel like my breath and body odour starts going.
But I said to him he was stinking a bit. Like,
I
was like, you're
What, could you smell him from the other side of the desk?
No, and you can. I'm so sorry if you're listening. I know this is our first episode. You know, sometimes you get a little whiff, and at first I thought it was Jake.
Normally for a that's rude.
Our audio
What? No,
producer.
as if it was Jake. Normally, a girl will always say there's always one pit that's the worst. Was one worse than the other?
Yes.
Yeah, it's normally a pit.
So I
It's
got
like-
away, and I thought, oh, it's me. And then I just said in front of the studio, I stink of BO, and Hannah Waddingham was on her way in, and then. You know you smell a BO when I was getting other people round me, the type of guy I am, to sniff me. And you know Jimmy, our producer, doesn't know back, went, oh, mate, you fucking stink. And I was like, oh, God. And then Hannah Waddingham walks in, and I give her a big hug.
Oh, you did give her a hug.
If we go back on the cameras and have a look, she did that way.
Did she pull back?
She pulled her nose back.
Yeah, but what's the thing you said before she came in? Basically, because as I said, we were a bit bolshy by then, and you used the line.
What was it?
I was like, you do stink a bit, mate. You go, wow, she can just sniff it.
Oh,
Oh,
I
what was
wrote
it
this
I
down
said?
in my phone somewhere,
was
the
it?
exact words you said.
What was it? I went, she's half hour late.
She's half hour late. She can just sniff it.
Get it out your quote. What was it I said? I said she can sniff it and shut up. Sorry, Hannah. You're actually one of my favourite guests that we've had on since
She's
the start.
amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
She's amazing.
And then Hannah Waddingham walks in. You're like, hi, Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Take as long as you need.
Yeah, I was creepy crawly. I was. Do you want to hear that interview?
Yeah, because it was such a good one.
Here is the extended interview of the brilliant Hannah Waddingham.
She is the Emmy-winning queen of Ted Lasso, the original Shame Nun from Game of Thrones, and the woman who stole our hearts at Eurovision. And we're going to make no secret, we've been trying to get her on the show for a long time.
Please welcome this morning, Hannah Waddingham!
Hannah Waddingham in the studio. How are you?
Stop it. It's so lovely. I'm rubbish at compliments. Do you think that's an... Hello, by the way.
Hi.
Do you think that's an English thing, being
Yeah.
like rubbish at compliments?
It's very British to have to apologise for everything, including
Absolutely
yourself.
everything. Yeah. It's a really weird thing. But it's quite a nice little list, so thanks.
You're more
Yeah,
than-
you
but
should
look
big up yourself.
very glamorous right now. You guys will be able to see Hannah on Global Player, the official capital app, because
Just a bit of simple Stella McCartney, guys.
And
That's
you're
very
strobing as well.
Oh, she's robing.
Right then, Hannah, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is
Like
to
what
chat.
you did there, come on.
Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Jesus, no pressure.
So I'm intrigued. How do you get told you're in a Mission Impossible film? Does Tom Cruise ring you? Is it a moment?
Do I
Is
do
it...
this? Can I just get a bit of technical help here?
Do what you like.
I sometimes twizzle my chair a bit.
That's what the twizzly chairs are for.
Yeah.
Twizzle
Got
the chair.
it. What did you say?
How does the news get delivered to you that you're in this film?
It was the most mental job offer I've ever had. So first they say Tom Cruise would like you to join him on the George H.W. Bush fighter carrier in the middle of the ocean, and you have to get to it by helicopter. And I swore a lot. I was like, this is... Because I'm a proper geek, so... I was literally beside myself. I didn't even ask what I'd be playing.
No, just yes.
No clue. They'd like to come. So the first time I'd literally finished shooting Fall Guy. Thank you for my coffee. Oh, that's quite fancy.
Is it?
Yeah. I'd literally come back on the Saturday night from Sydney shooting Fall Guy. I did a little bag change, and the next morning off to Bari Airport. And I met him and Chris McQuarrie, the director, beautiful, beautiful man, on the flipping runway.
What?
Did you appreciate flipping?
Yes,
I did.
very good.
Well
very good.
censored.
I saved us
well
all.
restrained.
Saved us all at the last minute. On the runway, we then got on a Black Hawk helicopter.
No way!
And just the three of us, I've got photo evidence, like a moron. I've got all the videos. Flew out over the ocean and... onto the moving George H.W. Bush fighter carrier with 4,500 active servicemen and women on it.
What?
Waiting to say hello, also losing their minds because the most famous movie star of all time is landing on their ship.
And that's how you got the job on this new Mission Impossible
it's
movie.
really casual.
That is the most surreal, almost one day you'll think, was it a dream? When you're sort of relaying this.
I had 5 nights and 6 days. I was sleeping in the actual Admiral's quarters. And all day and all night, F-18s on manoeuvres, landing, taking off, landing, taking off. And honestly, I geeked out, to the point where I had to remind myself that I was there to actually be on camera. And I honestly would have done it for nothing, but don't tell Paramount Pictures that.
Had you met Tom before? Tom,
No.
I know him.
No, Tom. Yeah. No, neither of them. But I was a bit overwhelmed actually meeting Chris McQuarrie. He wrote The Usual Suspects, guys.
Yeah, he's a genius man.
Yeah. So when I met Tom, I went, you are fabulous, but I'm actually more interested in meeting him. And he really found that funny because I was just overwhelmed meeting Chris McQuarrie too.
I mean, people describe, are they getting to interview Tom Cruise or working with him as the Tom Cruise experience? You experienced Tom Cruise. What was it like with him being on set? Because even just from an interview that I've done, I get the impression that he's very hands-on, even in terms of lighting, camera.
Oh, yeah, he's all over it. But you know what's gorgeous? And somebody said this at the BFI dinner last night. That's just a camp sentence. They said, and it's so true, he will spend all day, every minute on everyone else's coverage, camera coverage, making sure that you're all giving it, and will often have, not exaggerating, the last 2 minutes of the day on his own coverage.
Wow.
I've never worked with anyone more inspiring ever.
I mean, Hannah, your career has just got more and more surreal, and to the point where now you're talking about working with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I
I do appreciate that it's ridiculous, though.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been knocking around for a while, so it's all a bit of a novelty.
Well, you say that because we've had a lot. You have done some proper TV. You have done some
That's
proper
because I'm old, darling.
British TV shows. Midsummer Murders.
I love that was your go-to.
My Family. You
My
was in.
Family, yes.
That was so good. Hollyoaks.
I mean.
We found some one episode.
Footballers' Wives, but this is the one I did not expect.
Yes.
I did not expect you to be in this.
Brookside!
You were in Brookie!
Brookie, back in the day.
Did you do a Scouse accent?
No, I had to be very posh.
Oh, did you?
Unsurprisingly. Yeah. And have an inappropriate affair with a 23-year-old boy at the time. And I was only 28, and I thought, gee, how old do I look? God's sake.
I can't
But
believe
Brookie,
you were
properly
Brookside.
not on the square, in the close.
Yeah.
As well. I'm that old, Jordan.
You're
Thanks
not
for
old
pointing that out. It's
No,
absolutely
I'm not
fine.
saying that. I'm saying
No, dig yourself out of that one, Jane.
Do you remember how that ended, Brookside? I swear it was like a helicopter.
Did they
went
all
into the
explode?
hole. It was something like that.
Something like that. They had to take the lot of them out.
I'm not saying I'm saying you are a grafter. You have worked so hard.
Do you know where that comes from? Theatre. We are proper workhorses.
They are.
Yeah, we love the work.
You do 2 shows a day every weekend.
Yeah, 8 shows a week.
It is mad.
Yeah, so when you go into television, you're like, they don't know how lucky they are.
Well, yeah, because you'd be used to doing everything first take as well,
yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, you just get on with it. You know.
It's so mad because do you remember where your head was at when you were doing all those bits in, say, Brookside and Footballers' Wives?
Well, all of those things. That's why I was laughing because, I was like, theatre for 22 years. And then you start going, I'd quite like to do a different little part of this, different part of the world. And so you knock on that door and so you do an episode of this or an episode of that. And, to just be able to use a different muscle. So that's why it made me laugh. I just thought, Christ, that is a trip down memory lane.
Were you in the
friend.
bill? Everyone was in the bill.
No, I'd love to have been in the bill.
What?
Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, that's Mission Impossible. Wait, what was the bill? It was something similar.
It was with the feet.
Yeah, it's got a similar beat to it. I can't believe I just likened the bill.
How have you done all that? And you went, impossible. That's everyone was in the bill. And we need to talk about another one of your shows. We've got a present for you as well to talk about.
Oh, yeah. We've got a little present for you here.
What's going on? Look at you with the camera. This is what it's come to these days.
Can we explain for everybody
For those
listening?
people not actually watching on the old video, I have shortbread biscuits. Can I just say that these I know will already taste better than the horrendous dry offerings I used to have until I complained about them a lot, and then they put a lot of butter in them, a lot of sugar, and then they were excellent.
Are you gonna have, so these are the Ted Lasso shortbread recipes.
Oh, are they?
It's the actual Ted Lasso shortbread.
I've eaten so many of these, it's ridiculous.
Are you bored of it?
No, I think they're great. And they always used to give me a spit bucket, and I never spat them out because I just thought that's uncouth.
I did that on the Walkers advert. I had to do the thing in.
Can I just tell you, Walkers, well, and other crisps, are the cornerstone of my existence.
So these shortbread here were made by lovely Nana Toes over there in the corner. Who
call him Nana
And we
Toes.
have history, us two.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, everyone knows. Everyone in showbiz knows Nana Toes.
These are really good.
Thank you.
And this is, of course, because you would have these in
Coffee.
Ted Lasso. If you haven't
Yes.
seen Ted Lasso, you get given shortbread. I think in the same box as well. I think
Yes.
we've managed to nail that.
This is gorgeous. And yeah, Ted gives them to my character, Rebecca Welton, and they become I made them her kind of emotional support animal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the biscuits, whenever she's having a little bit of a moment.
So everyone's excited about the prospect of new Ted Lasso.
I know. We
as
were
well.
all a bit like, oh,
Thought it
we
was.
thought we'd mourned the loss. And now it's rising from the dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So go on.
Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing. We start shooting in July.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Is it because it almost looked like it was going to end at season 3 and then
Am I
it
allowed to take
stayed.
my coat off now, George?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry,
Yes,
I
if you
wouldn't
get
let Hannah take her off because she's strobing and looked really
Is
cool
it
and
because it
chic.
just looked too chic?
Yeah.
Is it because it wasn't moving? It didn't budge from the top 10.
No, and whenever anything comes onto the Apple platform, we kind of knock down 3 or 4. I'm always furious.
Yeah.
I was complaining to Kush Jumbo. She did a show, and I was like, "What do you think you're doing?" Knocking us off. And then we drift back on. But that's the writing.
Wow.
Our writers are literally Jedi Knights. They're just incredible. And we've got a full room of real feminist men.
Awesome.
So we've got all the fabulous women in there, but the men that are in there, and I think you really see it in the scripts. It's you could easily have a show that was so male dominated because there are, myself and Juno Temple are the 2 main women in it.
Yeah.
So it could really be out of control, but you'd never feel that. It's just so beautifully drawn.
That's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
You got a co-star here because Mr. Chris Stark was once in it.
Yeah, well, you won't know this.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, we're actually... The mad thing is I've got IMDb, right, only for Ted Lasso. So,
What did you do?
Well, I was a very brief role. It was like a little...
Don't say it like that. There's no brief roles, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you what happened was I do a podcast with Peter Crouch, and basically Jason seems to like this podcast, so asked us to record a little bespoke one. So not many people will know this unless you really look into it. But at one point he's listening to a podcast and we made me and Crouchy made a little bespoke one just for Ted Lasso for that. We've actually been in 2 different episodes because of it. How mad is that? So we're co-stars in a very little way.
Turn you into an honorary greyhound for that.
Oh my gosh!
Right, guys, we've not got long left.
Not
This interview was
Stop
meant to be
talking.
quick, but you're overrunning.
Hannah, honestly, you've been on our hit list for so long. We've wanted you in this studio.
On your hit list.
Well, that makes it sound
You've
like
been
we're
watching
trying
Mission for too long.
to... No, you've been on our...
That's so gorgeous.
Yeah, we're all obsessed
Thank
with
you for that.
We've got a wad of questions.
Hey.
Hey, look, the puns keep coming.
Come on.
We're going to just fire as many as we can with whatever time we've
Oh
got
my
remaining
God.
of you.
But
Yeah?
we're going to do
Oh,
it
then I've gotta
until your team say do the little rap
they
sound.
do.
Until
And
we
we're
get the
getting a
curly
quick
finger.
look. So yeah, here
Yeah,
we
go
go.
on,
Let's go.
start.
Right, question number
Oh my
1.
God, I was under pressure.
So, Hannah, it's fair to say you're quite in there with the Royals. I've
Yes.
actually had a curry with Prince William myself, but you've played darts with him at Ali Pali.
Yeah, add a bit. I shouldn't be eating. Go on, carry on. Yes. Yes.
Be honest,
Yes.
what is his throwing like?
It was sizably better than mine. Mine, I actually landed on the floor. Yeah.
Oh, no.
He's great. He's an absolute honey pie.
Okay, we've talked about loads of your TV programmes that you've been in, Footballers' Wives,
I mean,
Brookside. Yeah, Hollyoaks. But you were also in Benidorm, where you played the brilliant Tanya Dyke.
I
Yes.
loved her.
Your accent, can you do it, Tanya?
I tell you what, I absolutely loved that, my darling. I really did. I'd have gone back in a heartbeat, but I didn't have the time and I was up the duff.
You sound like the kind of girl our executive producer would go for when you speak like that. He loves
I loved it. She's definitely my alter ego in life. And the lashes were literally like...
Would you do another series maybe if they asked you, or a special episode?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I loved the part, but not the whole,
Not Benidorm.
and other things.
Okay. Okay, next question.
Okay,
Great.
Hannah, I've been asked before out of these two who I'd pick to be the godfather of my child, which is very difficult.
Couldn't have both.
Well, maybe you could actually.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Why was
lovely.
both never considered?
You've never been considered, and actually that's financially a lot better.
You see
for
how
my
much
child.
nicer I am?
Yeah.
Is it true you're the godmother of a cruise ship? And if so, what's his backstory?
How camp is that?
It's amazing.
I'm the godmother of a cruise ship. I mean, this is plugging them, if that's all right.
Yeah, go on.
Princess Cruises.
Amazing.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I'm the godmother of a ship, and I had to go and do the whole "and all who sail in her" thing. Yeah,
What, do you
It was
smash the
amazing.
bottle?
The whole smashing the bottle, all that. Yeah,
Did you get free cruises out of it?
I mean, what? Yeah.
Quick, another question.
Well,
Quick,
you do
another
one,
question.
quick. What else have we got? We read that you've just been cast in a film by the one and only Sir Paul McCartney. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, it's incredible. I mean, my lot rang me and went, so you're going to be on a cast list with Celine Dion, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Idris Elba. I was literally like, right, that I don't even care what the subject matter is. That's like a pretty epic. It's called High in the Clouds, and it's Paul McCartney's baby that he's taken like decades to put together. And I don't think I can tell you anything else.
We know it's animated, which
It's animated,
Yeah.
and I'm naughty.
Oh, it's
In
full
it.
circle from Brookside to Paul McCartney.
Oh my God! Have you got like shares in bringing it back on a VHS?
Do you think I kicked the arse out of the Brookside thing?
I just think that maybe she couldn't believe you were still circling back to it every time.
I was low-key obsessed with Brookside as a kid. There's something about that theme tune that just gets my juices going.
I never watched Brookside. Where was it? Was it-
Liverpool.
Oh, was it?
Close, yeah.
No, I don't remember.
You
Jennifer
can't beat
Ellison.
a bit of brochy.
Oh, I do remember Jennifer Ellison, actually, now you say it, and her face has just come into my head.
Did you have a Jennifer Ellison calendar?
I think she featured on
Yes,
one of
I
them.
can
I don't know what it would be because I was a Hollyoaks calendar fan. Did you ever have the bloke Hollyoaks calendar?
No.
Did you not? Even I had the girl Hollyoaks calendar.
No, I had A1 on a calendar. Do you remember them?
Do you know what the worst thing about the Hollyoaks calendar was?
Oh, no. Was there a 3D bit?
No, we'll talk about that another time. But it's the worst.
His Lara Croft
The worst-
poster. We'll get to that. We'll unpack that one
episode. On
episode.
him with 3D glasses on a Lara Croft poster, but anyway.
And he had a
It was
packet
3D
of ham
it was
on
a
the
3D
bed.
poster. There was
Anyway.
no ham involved. The problem with the Hollyoaks calendar was, bless her heart,
Yes.
my gran for about 5 years bought me that
Oh,
without
no.
realising she was the one buying it. So she'd go give my mum a bit of money and say,
Aw.
get something for Christmas that Chris would like. And I'd always ring her and say thank you for the gift out of politeness. But what she didn't realise is she was funding a Hollyoaks calendar, the yearly Hollyoaks calendar,
Like,
up on the wall.
all the girls.
Honestly, I remember.
Just the girls.
Just the girls.
I remember, you should Google it, just put Mercedes Hollyoaks calendar. And it was quite raunchy. Yeah. I had that and the Holly Valance one.
I had the Holly Valance one as well.
There you go. Make of that what you will. Right, welcome back. Now, if you ever... Oh, sorry, that was a bit radio-y now. I did that, weren't it? I'll do it podcasty. Hang on. Now, if you...
Just quickly, because if they keep that in, that's quite funny. I had to unlearn doing the radio
Keep it in, go on.
voice. Because when I covered this morning, I was just shouting.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing it. So on this
Really?
morning, you basically bring it almost to a whisper.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to this morning, and today we're talking. But I was going, welcome back to this morning,
'Cause
and I was shouting.
On the radio, we've got all the beds, which is the production and stuff. You've got to have energy, and sometimes there's a fine line between energy and shouting. So you go, it's Capital Breakfast with Jordan, Chris and Sean at 5:20, whatever. But on telly and on
telly, that's
podcast-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because also they can see you, so they're like, I can see you, don't need to shout.
Yes.
But I'm going, morning!
Morning, welcome back to This Morning. Yeah, oh
Honestly,
my God.
genuinely, the boss told me he had to turn me down. He was like, oh, that's why we had to turn you down. I'm
But
like,
that is kind of weird
right.
because whenever I go on that show and you see, say, Kat Deely stood there and they just start talking, I'm always a bit like, is this on?
That's
Because you think...
Chris, you don't know you've started.
Yeah.
Which is a good and can we just do some peeks behind the curtains of This Morning one day, because your job there is mad.
There's so many funny things I could tell you, but I will just quickly say that you never know it started. Even when I've covered and been the one hosting it, it doesn't ever seem to start at 10. I don't know if it's because of the adverts or whatever it is. So it might be like 2 minutes to, and Dermot's going, good morning, and I think we're practicing. And then I realise that we're carrying on. And I go, oh, we're in.
God.
It's so relaxed.
Go on, the email address. What's the email address?
Wait a minute, I've got to look it up because it's new, you see. We haven't done this before. So this is, normally on the show we'd get you to text in, which is so good. We love having all your comments and stories. So if you do want to send us a funny story, and please do, you can email them to aftershowshow@capitalfm.com.
Aftershowshow@capitalfm.com.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how Jordan would say, after show.
Are you looking after the emails? Do they go directly to your... Have you got a separate folder?
Chris has got this thing that I'm customer service
Yeah,
for everything.
great.
I always say anything, if
Oh,
you've got any
summertime
questions about
ball.
summertime ball, accessibility issues,
Speak to
you know,
Sean.
No,
can't
don't
print
be-
your tickets, anything like that.
Because she's so lovely, she does actually reply to all the
She-
DMs.
she does.
To the point where someone will DM me and go, oh, I've got tickets for pitch at Summertime Ball, but it says no under 14s. I'm like, yeah, I'll just message Sean.
I screen grab it and send it to Sean.
So do I. And I'm like,
Don't, because I do get so many.
You're so lovely that you reply. I just say to him, I'll speak to Sean, our customer service advisor.
So just to be clear, any questions for the podcast, aftershowshow@capitalfm.com. Any questions about the summertime ball and any issues surrounding that?
Sean.
Don't, because that's my real email.
They'll beep it out.
That'll be fine.
Good.
All right, first question comes from Gemma in Basingstoke. This is exciting, the very first question.
How's this come in then?
I don't know.
Through the magic of radio.
Have you ever been told off by an artist management? And what was it for? I've got a few examples of
Yeah,
this.
I got
So you mean like the entourage that brings the artist in or whatever? Because there's
Yeah.
always PR people, isn't there, and agents.
I got done by the guy from Rixton.
Rixton?
Yeah, because I asked, I can't remember what it was for. Something because his mum and dad, Shane, Richie, and Colleen Nolan.
yeah.
I got told
Jay
about
Roach.
that. Yeah, Jay, he's a nice guy, but
Yeah, great lad.
got told off by him. He was like, oh yeah, we don't want to talk about that. I was like, oh okay.
You don't want to talk with your mum and dad?
Yeah, even though I know Shane. Well, I didn't at the time. I was in local radio.
You do get briefed. I fell into a bit of a problem with this. There's two stories that come to mind here. One of them was where I was interviewing Lady Gaga.
Right. So this circles back to the start of the podcast,
Yes.
which may or may not have been bleeped. So
So I'm
Okay,
fascinated
good.
to see how they do
good.
with this.
Okay, good.
Do you know this?
I think
Please
I
tell
do.
me.
So there was an incident with Lady Gaga where I wasn't present, but a friend of mine was interviewing Lady Gaga, and she has a wardrobe malfunction, basically.
Where? On stage?
And what's happening is that there's a game of Jenga that is going on in front of Lady Gaga, right? And
Wait, just quickly. Where is this interview happening? On a radio
Is
show?
think
it,
it's
is
at
it the
Brit
old
Awards.
place?
yeah,
Old place. Festival?
possibly. I
Okay.
don't know.
Backstage somewhere.
I think it's potentially at Brit Awards.
Okay.
But basically, what's happened is there's a game of Jenga going on. She decides not to play it. Decides to kick the Jenga over.
Oh, I thought you meant there's a game of Jenga going on down there. And I was like, it's a metaphor.
It's not a metaphor.
Stuff everywhere.
No. You know how you've got to do fun stuff with artists. Anyway.
Okay, so the interviewer is playing a game of Jenga with Lady Gaga.
Yeah. She then decides she doesn't want to play it and she's going to kick the Jenga over. Now, what she does is she kicks the Jenga over, accidentally reveals...
Basic instinct.
Yeah.
She accidentally reveals what?
Well, her
Bandersnatch.
and you've seen Lady Gaga.
Wait, she had no pants on.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in the details here.
Bogged down. Bogged down in logistics.
I then got told, because I thought this story was amazing, by her manager next time she was in. They were like, "Can you not talk about the Jenga incident?" But it was like I wasn't even there, so why? But then I guess I'm talking about it now, so maybe their point's proven.
Brilliant.
Tricky one, that. And I also remember I had a problem with Nicki Minaj.
What on earth?
With a Minaj.
With Nicki's Minaj. Oh God. Oh no.
So what happened there is she was running late.
Right. Okay.
And I treated myself to some chips and beans. Right?
Oh, God.
And so I'm eating the chips and beans and someone came in and was basically like, not even to me, in front of me went, "He's gonna have to go."
What?
So I'm interviewing her.
What? But they're like,
He's
who is
gonna-
this? Absolute.
Because they couldn't understand why, when the room's all prepared all nicely, there's me sat here like this eating chips and beans.
So did you
So
get
anyway,
removed?
I had to leave.
Okay.
Finished the chips and beans outside and then
Come in.
proceeded to interview her afterwards.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Brilliant.
There we go. I hope that answered your question. Who even sent that in? Where was that again?
That was Gemma in Basingstoke.
Thank you, Gemma, because that's got two of my favourite stories now out of Chris Stark.
All right, that was episode 1 of Capital Breakfast after the show. Very good. What are we titling it? Nicki's Minaj?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
How did we compare to Peter Crouch, Chris?
Oh, yeah, well, no, I really enjoyed this. Yeah, how was it for you?
It was absolute. It was a dream. It was just everything I could want and more. By the way, because you guys know what you have to do here. Do you have to say like and subscribe?
Yeah.
Or do you have to comment,
no.
subscribe?
What do we
Yeah.
say?
What do you say?
You say
Hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
No.
No.
You only listen to this on Global Player.
The
I
official
see.
Capital app.
You only listen to this on Global Player.
Fair.
And don't forget, you can get involved in the podcast. Drop us an email anytime. Ask us anything. After show at capitalfm.com or on Capital Official socials. Says here we're off to the pub, but I don't think we are because it's 11:30 and we've all got
Plans for the day?
to go on to.
I'm off to Lulu's house.
Okay.
Right. We will talk about that. You're going to actual Lulu's
I'm going to Lulu's
house.
house. I don't know much more about it, but I'll tell you on the next show.
Game of Jenga?
Maybe not.